Hey y'all, this is Conrad Layn here. Follow my video through. I'm gonna share my screen. It was supposed to be a Layn quick tip, but went way into over to a long tip. So this officially graduated to become a Layn University study class, not a quick tip. It went way over, but this is very important. What you guys might not be aware of is that Turo at this time, unfortunately, in my opinion, unfortunately, they allow Turo guests to drive your car all over the United States if they booked your car in the United States, and all over Canadian borders and provinces if they booked your car in Canada. What this means is that even if you put in your profile, don't drive it across state borders, that's too many miles, I do not allow that. You cannot enforce that because at the time the policy itself allows Turo guests to drive all over Canada, all over the Canadian borders, all from front to back of the Canada to front and back of the United States. Doesn't matter, you can't enforce it. All you can do is add overages. All you can do is add on, maybe not accept an extension if they say are too far away, they can't make it back in time. Then at that time it falls on them again because you already didn't want them driving that far, and even if you tell them not to do it, they can still do it. And at that point, if they want to extend a trip with your car that you really didn't want them to drive that far, you don't have to extend it. You have the right not to accept that extension. Then you can charge them overage fees for mileage, and you could charge them over improper return fees, etc., etc., etc. That's the strategy to go forward. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't that way, but that's what it is. So I always tell you everything I love about Turo, and I love Turo. It's a Blue Ocean company, it's a great company. But this video I'm going to share my screen is a bit scary because I also I called into Turo. I also contacted the Turo support rep, where I'm going to leave a screenshot of our conversation where they specifically said that it's allowed, unfortunately, for them to drive all over the United States. Even if they book my car in California or Texas, they can drive it all the way to across the United States if they want to and back. All you can do is put mileage on, so you can charge them overages, and of course that could prematurely age your car, but that's all you can do at this point. It's what it is, people. So what you have to do, always make sure you get your car vetted and checked as soon as possible by your affiliated dealership, so that it's a free complimentary inspection. Make sure you get the paperwork showing that your tire treads prime, that your oil level is great, that your car is not overheating, that it's in perfect health, that all your bulbs and lights work, etc. Because if something happens and the car breaks down, unfortunately that falls on you, and you have to make this clear that no, you did your best and you make sure that the car is fully healthy and great and in good condition, but upon return or upon during the guest trip, they damaged the car and it's their fault. Then they'll be charged with Turo roadside, because it becomes very expensive if you're in a different state where they have to tow the car back or buy you tires or whatever. It becomes very expensive. So at that point, let the guests know, hey, just letting you know, I'm going to get the car fully checked because you have a long trip. I know you're traveling outside the state or outside the country borders of Canada, a province. If the car breaks down, it does fall on you. You know, I usually don't allow this for that very reason. I don't want to overcharge you. But if the car breaks down, you do have to pay for Turo roadside, because I have all my documentation showing that this car is in healthy prime condition. And at that point, maybe they'll cancel it themselves, but you know, I don't want to deal with that. Or maybe they'll keep it, but at least you document it in Turo messaging, because if you don't tell them that, first and foremost, they don't know. It's good to let them know. And second, it gives them a second opportunity to cancel, because if you cancel a trip, you know you don't want them to travel across state borders and all over the United States or all over Canada. If you cancel, it hits your metrics. So maybe by telling them that they could cancel so it doesn't hit your metrics. But that's just another strategy. Not encouraging for you to cancel trips or not, just saying that a lot of hosts don't surprisingly know this. And I follow the screen through. I'm gonna leave a screenshot there, and then I'm gonna follow you my screen to show you the actual policy. And I also left the policy below that also states and supports what I'm saying. So if someone books a trip, they want to drive all over the California, so drive all over the United States, go on an epic road trip, you don't have to extend the trip. At that point, you're charging them improper return fees and all essential fees, because people at the end of the day just might abuse your car. So you have to actually put strategies in place. But anyway, follow my screen, look at the screen following, and you're gonna learn a lot. I'm gonna show you the actual policy. I'm gonna screenshot my conversation with Turo that I actually had. They're phenomenal. They took care of it. They told me what it was. So I'm just gonna share what it is for you guys. So follow the screen through. Thank you for following me through Layn Turo quick tips, and I'm gonna keep this really quick. I'm in the article that I left below for prohibited uses, and this is what's going to stipulate and state exactly what I was mentioning earlier, that unfortunately at this time currently, if your guest books your vehicle, they have the right to actually drive it across state lines here in the United States, and in Canada they have the right to drive it across province borders, which can be awfully expensive in repairs and premature wear on your car. But that is something you gotta know. I'm surprised by how many hosts don't know this, so I made a quick tip video on how to guard yourself. even if you put in your profile, please only drive within your state, or you only allow certain states. That's not, Turo will not enforce that, because the current policy, as it mentions right here, and I cited it in the link below as well, outside the 50 United States or Canada, if booked in the US or Canada, if a guest books a car in the US, they may drive across state lines and across the US-Canadian border. That's it, people. So I don't care if you put in your profile, don't drive outside of Florida, or don't drive outside of Wisconsin, or don't drive outside of some Canadian border, or don't drive outside of California, don't drive outside of Vegas, don't drive outside of Nevada. Doesn't matter. It will not be enforced, and you won't be able to collect any type of money in regards to them driving across state lines or across Canadian province borders. So what you have to do is, because this is part of policy, you can't charge that. So even if you tell the person, please don't drive my car across state lines or across Canadian borders, they can still do it, and you can't do anything about it. Only thing you could do at this point is really make sure you put mileage on your car, so that it inclines them to not want to drive that amount. But hey, they still might do it, so that means you can just charge them overages, or you can even cancel it, which sucks, because that ends up basically bringing down your host rating. But at the same time, that might be worth canceling if you do the math, or maybe not. Maybe don't cancel it, but if you do cancel, just make sure it makes sense, because I do understand if someone books your car for your state or your city, and they drive, say, through 5 other states in the time span of them having a car, unfortunately, that might bring unnecessary premature wear and tear on your vehicle. So a quick tip to solve this, because you can't change the policy at this point, that's what their law is at this point within Turo. They can drive across state lines also. So if someone books a car in California, they could drive all the way to the other side of the country of the United States and bring it back, and no problem. That's unfortunate. So in this type of situation, what I highly recommend is maybe consider adding mileage on, so that at least you're paid for the overages, because that's definitely gonna go over your overages. What I also highly recommend, what's the most important step out of this that I want you to really get in heed to, is that take your car to your affiliated dealership. So you can get a free complimentary. So for example, if you have a Nissan, take it to a Nissan dealership. If you have a Porsche, take it to a Porsche affiliate dealership. If you have a Mercedes, take it to a Mercedes dealership. If you have a Tesla, take it to a location to get inspected. And when I say inspected, check that the battery's good on the Tesla or your electric vehicle, or check that the battery's good on the gas fuel car. Make sure the tires are not worn. Get a documented statement from the technicians at the affiliate dealerships, or Pet Boys, or wherever you go get your inspections for free or for low price, or whatever the case is. Get documentation from the mechanics and the body shop techs that your car is safe, that the tread's right, and that your mileage is okay, that you have correct oil levels, that you have to do even more checks. So anytime you get a long-term booking, always, like, say if you know they're going to travel to another state, or they're going to have it for, say, 20-30 days, always assume that they're probably going to travel outside the state. Just how it is. Doesn't mean they will, just assume. But the best tip is ask them. Call them, message them through Turo so it's documented, and ask them, hey, thank you for booking my vehicle through Turo. So what are your plans, or what do you plan to do? And then again, when you meet them again, ask them, so what are your plans? And oftentimes they'll tell you, oh, I'm traveling outside the state, or I'm traveling here, there. And if they don't tell you, they don't tell you. But you should always ask them, so that if they if they are traveling outside your state or outside your province borders, if you're in Canada, at least it's on your radar. And the best tip is to have a GPS tracker, preferably kill switch, so you can cut the engine off. But at this point, I would highly recommend that getting a GPS, just so that going forward, if someone drives that far, you can monitor your car better. Because the problem is, if your car breaks down in a different state and they need to bring it back, it's gonna be very, very expensive. We do have Turo roadside, but the problem is it's very expensive. So that's why I say you had to get documentation showing that your car's in perfect health, that your car tire wheels have a lot of tread, they're not bald tires, making sure that your oil is sufficient, and that your car's not overheating, making sure that all your that your car lights and signals all work, make sure your bulbs work, make sure everything in your car that could possibly go wrong works, and get it documented by the technician, the body shop technician. You can usually get this done for free if you go take it to the, say, affiliate dealership. Like I said, if you have a Toyota, take it to Toyota. If you have a Nissan, take it to the Nissan dealership. If you have a Mercedes, take it to the Mercedes dealership. If you have a Volkswagen, take it to the Volkswagen dealership. They always typically offer a complimentary inspection. Do this, and do not let the car go. If you know you got your car booked, and say another guest is booking and going across state lines or across province borders in Canada, and especially after you ask them the question, they say yes. And even if you have GPS and you find out they do that, or if they have a long trip, always do this so that no matter what happens, you're covered, people. Because if something happens and the roadside service tows to say back from another state or another province, there's gonna be hundreds of dollars that you have to pay if you can't prove that it wasn't your fault. Just a good rule of thumb, if anything over 7 days, I would say even less than that, but 7 days, always get some type of inspection. Even if the guest doesn't tell you they're traveling outside the state or province, always consider and expect that they're probably traveling outside the province in Canada, and that they're also traveling outside the states. So always get an inspection. This is a good rule of thumb. Always get an inspection, or you're gonna be in trouble. If it breaks down, one tire goes bad, them putting a tire on it or them towing the car back is gonna be very, very expensive. And unfortunately, a lot of hosts don't know this, that Turo guests at this time currently have the right to drive your car wherever they want in the United States, and wherever they want in the province, different provinces in Canada, as long as they don't go to Mexico. They're basically covered, and you can't say nothing. Even if you tell them not to do it, they can do it, because Turo endorses that at this point. So instead of complaining about it, you have to become even a better host and make sure to get everything documented in the beginning. Make sure you get it fully vetted so that when the car breaks down, and if it breaks down, because driving that many miles is premature aging, unfortunately. You basically at least have it documented and protected, so they charge the guest and not you. And another tip, contact the guest and let them know, hey, you know, I see that you're going to actually be driving far away from what you said, or to another state or another province. That's fine, but if a car breaks down, I'm like, you know, I always get this car checked and vetted, so to make sure you're safe, make sure you get to point A to point B and back safely. But the thing is this, if the car breaks down, it's gonna be very, very expensive, because we use Turo roadside, and you're gonna be charged for this. This might incline them not to book your car and them to cancel it, so that at least it doesn't hit your metrics. Because if you cancel it, it hits your metrics. So that's just another strategy. But if they keep the car, at least you let them know, but let them know in wording on Turo that you get your car fully checked, which is good. You're keeping them safe, but you're letting them know if anything goes wrong with the car, it falls on you 100%, because I got this car 100% checked out. And that's a Layn quick tip. That's how you do it. And I love you guys. This went a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I thought this is very important. Just want to give you guys a quick study session and just a quick refresher. So this is what you got to do. So protect yourself, and always make sure to get your car fully vetted before giving a car to anyone, regardless, even if they don't tell you they're going on a trip or outside the state or outside the province. If it's 7 days or more, or even less, always get it inspected. And then especially if they do tell you they're going to travel outside state lines, always get it inspected. Love you guys. Like, subscribe, share. Conrad Layn out. Peace.